A very good morning to one and all present. I'm Devika Hariharan and I welcome all of you to this webinar, Entrepreneurship and Innovation by the Institute's Innovation Council and Symbiosis Skills and Professional University. Good morning, Gauri ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rohit sir. Gauri ma'am, I would request you to speak a few words.
Good morning, all of you, and good morning, Rohit sir. It's a pleasure having you. Normal, which has become our new normal. So, a warm welcome on behalf of School of Architecture, Urban Development and Planning, and also Symbiosis Skills and Professional University. We have established this Institute Innovation Council, which is an initiative by Ministry of Education, Government of India, through which we are trying to promote innovation and entrepreneurship amongst the students, and we are also promoting them to come up with some startup ideas which we are planning to promote and help them to establish their startups, so on and so forth, under our Institute Innovation Council, to which I am the president. And from Institute Innovation Council of the university also, I extend a very hearty welcome to you. And I hope this webinar will throw some light on how important it is to develop the entrepreneurship skills and think innovatively. Even for architects, though we all of us are architects, we are trained to look at things in a particular manner, you know. Though we learn design thinking, but we never try to apply that design thinking beyond our boundaries of architecture. So here in my school, we are trying to break those boundaries, you know, which the architecture students have developed around them. So I think this webinar will be an eye-opener for all of us. So thank you so much for accepting our invitation and being there with us today. And I think we can start and go ahead with the proceedings. Thank you, Devika, for giving me this opportunity.
Welcome, ma'am. Firstly, speaking about our guest lecturer, Mr. Rohit Warrior, an inventor, entrepreneur, and businessman, a serial entrepreneur and founder of Warrior Electronics and Zipline Drinking Shield. Rohit Warrior is a passionate person driven to bring a positive change in every industry he touches. His innate drive to innovate, coupled with his hospitality background, fired the data of relooking at oral hygiene in a novel way that found expression in Zipline drinking shields. A sterilized portable shield between your lips and the rim of the glass. It ensures no matter where you drink and what you drink, your lips touch a sterile, clean surface designed for glassware. Zipline is likely to change the way people enjoy a drink out of their homes. An IHM graduate with a diploma in fire, industrial, and safety engineering, and 14 plus years of experience under his belt, and of which 10 plus years have gone into forming and leading various organizations. He also holds a diploma in business administration from IGNOU. Rohit Warrior, sir, I request you to please describe your journey.
Hi Devika, thank you Dr. Gauri for welcoming me and having me here. You know, I thought until this webinar even I was a student, uh, but now I'm taking the role of a educator, and I'm honored by that gesture that you guys have shown on me. So a person is always a learner, no matter what his age is. And it's always good to keep learning new stuff, and I could learn from you, you guys could learn from me, and so on and so forth. And Dr. Gauri mentioned a very important thing, about architecture, going through a particular frame of mind and not looking here and there. But then so unfortunately it is the same with every field. A science graduate will only look at science. He'll try to keep away from maybe arts, or an art student will not even take any interest in maybe medical. So it is become
Yes,
like that.
here I would like to also mention that actually architecture is a very holistic field where there are inputs from different facets of life, right from literature to performing arts to arts, fine arts, technology, humanities. But en route our journey of completing this 5 years of architectural education, somewhere the students get too involved in some kind of a boundary which actually not intentionally created, but those boundary walls, or I should call retaining walls in terms of architecture, uh, needs to be broken, need to be broken down. That is what I feel. And hence I was really excited when the university gave me this responsibility of handling the innovation cell of the university. And I thought, yes, then let us try and bring this aspect also in our education, architectural education, which is uh, not actually practiced in other schools, where ultimately uh, somewhere we become confined in designing buildings and designing just environments, and not giving opportunity to our brains to explore other areas.
No,
So
very true, very true. And it's a very good initiative because, students are the future of the country. And I always feel that doing business is not really a money making thing, but it's a social service. You create jobs, you give back to the economy. And, it's
yes,
something that really, really excites me. It's like in my blood. And not really in my blood, but it's come into my blood now. And I'm really excited to, uh, probably teach the students in some way. If I could inspire, it will be
yes,
my
yes,
pleasure.
yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So when we talk about innovation or entrepreneurship, people usually get scared. So because people feel innovation, matlab, yeah, we'll have to have big labs, and entrepreneurship, yeah, business. They directly look at the people who are already successful, and then they get scared and never even try giving it a go. So luckily, the presentation which I have made, it's something similar to breaking the norm of how to innovate, or how to look at a broader view than just going by what or what you're studying. Let me just share my presentation and my screen. So uh, so my intention is not to bore you guys, right? I want to make it interesting. So I'll keep my speech a little short, and then we'll get back to, or rather, we'll get into the conversation mode of questions and answers, because that is the best way to learn. Uh, so just a second. So my only request is, if you can have your videos on, it'll be a very good conversation, because you get to know the person in a much better way, the team that I'm giving the presentation to. It's always nice to give a live session, but unfortunately this is the new normal, and we have to make do with whatever arrangements that we can, considering the situation. So let me start by telling you all a story, right? So back in 1499, just a second, there's a problem with my presentation. All right, never mind. So back in 1499, the French king, so the French king Louis XII attacked the Duchy of Milan, and the Milan city was one of the greatest, cities at that point of time in terms of the trade, in terms of the futuristic view that the city had. Now, the Duke, there was a very capable engineer who worked for the Duke of Milan. Now, once the French king attacked the Duke of Milan, uh, you know, just a second, there's some problem. I'll stop my screen share for a second and I'll restart.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir. The
Hello?
screen is visible. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so let me just restart again. So in the year 1499, a French king named Louis XII attacked the Duchy of Milan. Uh, now, in Italy, at that point of time, the current day Italy, it was not like a one single country. There were various kingdoms and various republics, various dukes and duchies, combined together, like India. And at that point of time, India was not one single country, but part of various kingdoms like Rajputana and various kingdoms. Now, during this period, because of the French attack, the one of the particular capable man lost his job. In search of this job, or rather to get back into his professional life, this particular man traveled to a city called Rome. Right now, when in Rome, he came across a lot of merchants from Constantinople. Now, Constantinople in the current uh, scenario is Istanbul, part of Turkey. Now, uh, that is when he came across rich merchants who had stories to tell about Constantinople. Now, Constantinople was the richest and the biggest empire of that time, and the strongest empire. And it was the empire was also one of the strongest empire of those times, which is the Ottoman Empire. Which was the Ottoman Empire. Now, when he was traveling to Rome, this particular engineer who was working as a military engineer, he came across news that the Sultan of Ottoman Empire was looking for a capable architect to build this whole city. Now, as soon as he heard that story, he wrote to the Sultan immediately about his proposal of what he could do to better the city of Constantinople in terms of the infrastructure. And in his letter, there was also a mention of designing and building a big bridge, uh, in the city of Constantinople. Now, apparently, this engineer has never visited Constantinople, but he just heard about the proposal, or rather the invitation, and he wrote a letter. Now, uh, you must have heard of a place, or rather a water body called Golden Horn. Now, Golden Horn is a giant water body, which divides the city of Constantinople into two, right? Now, this proposal included building a giant bridge, which connected the two ends of the city. Now, this was 366 meters long. It was 24 meters wide, and it had a height of 40 meters. So the original design contained this. So this bridge was so huge and humongous, without any supporting structure or pillar. It was a single span arched bridge. I'll show you some photographs if possible in the coming slides. Now, such kind of bridge was never ever thought of, ever before. It was way ahead of its time. The design itself was way ahead of time. So the Sultan just saw the proposal and rejected it, thinking that a single span bridge will not hold and it will break off. Now, the able engineer in his letter had also stated that this bridge will be as big as buildings. It will be big enough for ships to sail under it. But in spite of the fact, the proposal was rejected. It gathered dust in one of the museums for 4 to 5 centuries, along with various other and various other documents, which was equally irrelevant to the Sultan at that point of time. Now, I'm not going to the next slide because there's some problem in the slide settings, and the suspense would be over already. Now, what happened was, in basically 2003, a Norwegian artist called B.Arch designed a similar bridge based on the principles of this particular engineer, right? So it was then that it was proved that the design was right all along, but it was never given a thought of and never built. Now, any guesses that who this person might be, this capable engineer might be? Anybody wants to guess? I have already given you hints in the presentation as well. Does anyone want to chip in? Actually, let me give you one more clue. There's a painting which is very famous in the world, a very famous painting. Does anybody know of that painting? I'm sure everybody knows, but you can take a guess.
Sir, the painting of Mona Lisa?
Correct. Who said that? And who painted it?
Sir, I'm not remember the name exactly.
Sir,
I've
it's
given you a clue.
Leonardo
Come
da
on.
Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Sorry, come again.
Sir, Leonardo da Vinci.
Correct. Now, we all know the great Leonardo da Vinci by his prowess in painting, by Mona Lisa, right? Now, whoever comes across this story never would have imagined that Leonardo da Vinci was also an architect, or rather was also an engineer, right? The point that Dr. Gauri was making, this is exactly what, fortunately, I have in my presentation. Now, let me just get back to my presentation and continue the point that I'm trying to make. Da Vinci, apart from being an architect, a designer, he basically studied while he was a child, from a prominent mathematician in Florence. While he was studying mathematics, he was also doing apprenticeship in painting and sculpting, right? He was absorbing knowledge like anything other than what his core field was. He also learned Latin, metallurgy, geometry, anatomy, aerodynamics, right? Now, you won't believe, in today's time, can a non-medico even stand in front of a dissection table, leave alone dissecting a human body? I think it's like unbelievable, or rather people would just scrap the idea of a non-medico coming even near a dissection table. But you won't believe, Da Vinci not only learned anatomy, but he also dissected human cadavers, right? Now, it was using his background in geometry and anatomy that he was able to design, or rather, with detailed precision, he could sketch the whole human body. And sketching the human body with the precision of a 3D scanner. If you go and do a 3D scan, the kind of image that you would get, it was exactly like that. And in 15th century, someone doing this, it was next to impossible. Now, Da Vinci not only sketched, his sketches are even today used in medical volumes. You could just Google it and you would understand more about it. Now, you would again think, why am I talking about Da Vinci when we're supposed to talk about innovation? Now, the point that I'm trying to make here is you got to be fluid. Now, what does being fluid mean? Being fluid means fluid is water or something which is liquid. Right? If you pour a liquid, it can flow through any surface, be it rock, be it a soft surface, be it a hard surface, it will just flow. Right? That is how our mindset should be. It should not be stuck to one particular field. We should always be open to absorb knowledge wherever we can, or whatever field that we can. Right? That is what being fluid means. Now, Da Vinci could achieve all those things because of his background in various fields. He was an artist, he was an engineer, he was a mathematician. So all these intersection of various disciplines is where innovation happens. Now, this is a very, very important point. To innovate, you don't need a big lab, you don't need equipment to do stuff. These are all just hyperbole. For innovation to happen, you need to come across various fields, at the intersection of various fields. Da Vinci couldn't have made those drawings. I'll just show you those drawings. So these are the drawings made by Da Vinci, of a human fetus. Now, these are, if you could compare it with the actual 3D scans, these are as good as that. Right? This is what he had made in the 15th century. Only because he was good in arts, he was good in geometry, he was good in anatomy, he could dissect. That is the why he could see the human organs inside of the body, right? So this was basically an innovation at that point in time. Hence, it is very important to not just being stuck into one particular field, but absorb yourself into various fields or whatever knowledge that you can grab onto. And that is when you can think different and not just be stuck to your own field. Now, human
Sir,
civilization is.
sorry to interrupt you, sir, but we cannot see the screen.
Oh, I'm so sorry. This is the drawing that I was talking about. You could have told earlier. Right? So you see the human fetus. It was impossible at that point of time. Someone could not even think about doing such a thing, which Da Vinci could do at that point of time. And what we all know about Da Vinci is Mona Lisa, but nothing else. But only because of his knowledge and and interest to learn other stuff is what enabled him to achieve not just Mona Lisa, right? But the design of the bridge, or being a good architect, being a good aerodynamics. You won't believe Da Vinci is the first person to invent a robot. Right, back then in 15th century. So you could Google all these stuff to learn more about, but it was only possible because he was fluid. He did not let himself be occupied with one particular field. He absorbed knowledge with his with his experience and wherever he could absorb it from. So the human civilization is full of such examples. No, I could talk about Steve Jobs for an hour. I could talk about Elon Musk, Richard Branson. All these guys, they were all not just stuck to one particular field, but they had immense knowledge. So, for example, since we spoke about Steve Jobs, the design of the iPhone was inspired by an architect again, right? An architect called Joseph Eisler. In the US back then, there was a famous houses by the name of Eisler homes. Eisler homes were built on a very simple principle of clean homes. So the design principles were very simple taste. Glass walls which were not made of concrete or brick. It was walls ceiling to floor glass walls, and it looked premium. Uh, Steve Jobs has also mentioned about it to Walter Isaacson in his biography about what influenced the design of iPhone. You would see a sleek, clean structure from top to bottom. It was all inspired by Eisler Homes. Now, this is where Steve Jobs spent a lot of his childhood. So all our life has various experiences, and a lot of things influences us. Like the childhood of Steve Jobs' home influenced the design element of iPhone. I can also talk about the arts. People call Steve Jobs a dropout. Of course, he's a dropout, but he did not drop out to just work something else. He dropped out. At the same time, he started learning calligraphy. Right, as soon as he dropped out of college, he started a course in calligraphy. Now, calligraphy, what he learned in calligraphy is what inspired rather the fonts in iPhone, or any other phones for that matter. Sans and sans serifs, the beauty of the fonts that we see in our phones today, that is because of his learning that he grabbed from while he was learning calligraphy, and that is when he dropped out of college. So basically, anything that we do has a significance in our life. Like Steve Jobs himself mentioned that joining the dots. We could be doing a certain stuff now. We may not realize the significance of that particular thing later on, or rather now. But when we move on in life and when we look back, we could really join the dots and see, yeah, back then 5 years back, I was doing something. Yeah, now मुझे उसका फायदा हो रहा है. Rather, now it is benefiting me in some way. Everything that happens now influences us in some way or the other going forward in our lives. Now, this was why I was talking about Leonardo da Vinci and what he studied, why he studied, how fluid he was, how innovative he was, only because he could learn from various fields. Do not be stuck with one particular subject that you like, hang around with people who are from different subjects. There's also a norm in today's time that, we hang around with people who are similar to us, or other from the same background, because we think, yeah, हमारे कुछ लोग साथ में रहेंगे. But that is really making us even more closed in our mindset. We should come out of that mindset, hang around with different sets of people who has different background, with different knowledge. That is when innovation happens. That is when great things happen. People say Elon Musk or Steve Jobs, they're great people, but how did they become great? How? It was only and only because they were hungry for knowledge. They were hungry to learn things. Imagine batteries, electric cars, to rockets, to software. I mean, that is really impossible. If you go and ask Elon Musk, he knows, in and out of how a rocket works. So that is how much he has learned about rockets and rocket engineering. He did not do any professional qualification to learn how to shoot a rocket into the space. It was his curiosity to basically learn, not for qualification, but to grab knowledge and go forward in life. So that should be a motto, not the certificates or qualification that you strive for. Now, in terms of entrepreneurship, so innovation, I can talk a lot. Yeah, right. This is a very small session. It could be very well planned, and it could be done with different sessions by telling you all different stories about how an entrepreneur or how so-and-so person went from zero to what he has done till now. So innovation is all about that. You don't need big labs. You don't need big machinery, big equipment to innovate anything. It could be a very small thing. For example, this cap, right? What are the uses of this cap other than covering the pen? What could be it? Do you guys want to participate? Guys, I have not slept yet.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So,
So what could be other uses of this cap? No idea?
So it could be a pen holder or a pencil holder.
So it could be used as a paper clip.
Correct. Was that
Sameena, yeah.
right? Paperclip. That's a good answer. So basically, it is about innovating from where you are, or rather thinking about different uses of certain things. Do not go by what the standard is. Try to challenge what the standard is. That is when you will get innovations. That is when you will get new stuff, which is not thought of ever before. Now let me talk about our innovation, which is zipline. Uh, in fact, I can talk about it along with the presentation. So let me tell you how I started. Uh, for you guys to inspire, or for anyone to inspire, it's always better that you talk about the story of a person who you know, or rather who you're close to. Not everyone would be inspired by a story of Richard Branson or Bill Gates or Ratan Tata. They could well be, but then that will just be overall. But then if you know someone who has really done it from the scratch, it will really help in getting you into the entrepreneurship mindset. Now, again, entrepreneurship is not something big. You know, uh, it's basically something that you should be looking at as a social service, apart from obviously having a settled lifestyle and doing a lot of other stuff, which you cannot otherwise do when you're working for someone. Right now, let me just tell you about my family background. I am brought up in a joint family, and we were from a business family. However, so all that glitters is not gold. So basically, what I meant by saying writing that is, you could see someone from the outside, and you could think, oh wow, he's having such a good life. She's having such a good life. Big house and this and that. But then things were not really as happy, or as it seemed to be. We always had a struggled life, where we were always striving at the end of the month for money and stuff like that. Uh, so I grew up from that background. Now, why I'm mentioning this has also had a significance in my life. Similarly, you could have a lot of instances in your current life which could really have a good significance, or the way you are made right now. Your childhood also matters a lot. Now, I was educated myself in hotel management right from the high school. That is, even my 11th and 12th was hotel management. So hotel management has again enabled me in my innovation, which I'll talk about in some time. I went to Chennai to study, and then from Chennai, I went to Delhi to start my career in Bose. Now, you must have heard of the company called Bose. It's into audio systems, music systems. It is the most innovative company that I've come across. They have so many patents. That every music system is full of innovation. Uh, so the initial career influenced me a lot in terms of how important it is to innovate, or rather to have something of value, something which holds value in terms of patents, in terms of trademarks, how important it is. So that has influenced a lot going ahead in my career. Now, I started my first business in the year 2010, right? Not to mention, there are very, very few people who could just become millionaires or billionaires, overnight, or even few years for that matter. Starting up bootstrap with no support, it is of course difficult, but it is not impossible, right? Anybody can do it. You just need to have that will, that never say die attitude. If you have that will, nothing can stop you from achieving what you have really dreamt of, or what or just having a good life. So the initial 2 years of my life, it was hell lot of struggle. Uh, I couldn't get my first sale. So that was a fire business which I started, firefighting systems. I couldn't get my first sale for the first 2 years. Uh, Day in, day out, I just, subah uto, bike low, just roam around, see what projects are coming up, go inside the under construction buildings or under construction towers, check who the consultant is, check who the architect is, come back, try to find their contacts, call them up, meet them. 2 years I did this day in and day out, nothing short of it. And for some reason, I just didn't get a break, right? At one point I was in deep debts. I was so ashamed that hum log bahar jate the, along with my friends. I just couldn't pay up for what I've had, in terms of I couldn't pull in. My, kitna bhi ho, my friends used to contribute for me as well. But then at one point of time, you give up. तुमको लगता है यार कितना खर्चा मतलब लोगों से करवाएंगे. You also have that kind of ego कि यार मुझे भी करना है. But and since I couldn't afford, I stopped socializing with them because I couldn't contribute to what I was having, during the dinner. It was so bad. Not to mention debts. You need to survive, right? How long can you survive on your parents' money when your parents are also not earning that good? It was a really struggling time. Now, after 2 years, I got a break. Now, fortune favors the brave. Why I'm mentioning this is, if it was somebody else, they would have given up maybe in 6 months, maybe in 1 year, right? With no single sale, nothing. I mean, you're not earning anything. It becomes really very difficult on you in terms of your emotions and in terms of just surviving through the day. It was so bad. It was, I had to borrow even to buy a tea when I'm going out. It was such a bad situation. Finally, I could somehow motivate myself each day. I don't know how, but it was maybe my will, it was maybe my entrepreneurial spirit that I never ever gave up, because I always felt there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's just this much more effort that I need to put in. It's just this much more. Every day I used to tell myself, itna hi hai, chal ye kar le, ho jayega, ye kar le, ho jayega, ho jayega, ho jayega. And I got back on my feet every day in the morning with the fire in my belly, ki aaj karna hai, right? Finally, it paid. जो भी 2 साल में मैंने मेहनत करे थे, whatever struggle that I put in, it started paying off slowly. And after that, I've never looked back. Right now, during this time, I gained a lot of knowledge in terms of perseverance, in terms of just the sheer grit and determination to get what you want, not just dream about something and then forget about it the other morning, not sleep over it, but sleep over it and come back even stronger. I learned a lot about engineering in those days, which helped me invent zipline. Firefighting is basically more or less an engineering job, the field that we are into. You would also wonder, hotel management say, how come an engineer's job, or rather, how come firefighting? Again, it's just the curiosity to learn more. You see an opportunity, you just grab it. You don't think about it, ye karna hai ki nahi karna hai. You just grab it and then start executing it. That is how I came about, doing my business. Just don't think about it, keep analyzing, nahi. Because over analyzing will, lead you to policy paralysis, or analysis ka error. It'll just screw you up. So never overanalyze the situation. If you have that gut feeling in you that you have an idea, you got to do something about it. Just start right now. Don't wait for 1 ghante baad evening. Don't wait for tomorrow. Just start right away. So like my first slide said, I don't know why that slide is not coming up. I'll just get back to that slide. One of the surest way to success is starting. And that is when the failure happens, because nobody ever starts. And that's the most difficult part. Starting. So if you start, that is, you've done half the job. So it's a very small example I'll give you. If you have to go to a particular place from maybe Pune to Bombay, what do? You take the car keys, and then you start, right? That is when the journey happens. So similarly, if you want to do something about your life, you just have to start. Do not think about it. Just flick your finger and then start. Now, coming back to my story or my journey, I was always a little hygiene conscious when I used to have tea or coffee. I had this habit of going to tea stalls and having tea. When you're a hostelite, I mean, you guys, I'm not sure if you guys are hostelites or living here with your family. Uh, when you've done your college from outside of your home, tapri ka chai is something very, very famous, and every college has a tapri ka chai. I'm sure you guys also have a tapri ka chai behind your college. So the rims of the glass were always unhygienic, right? Kitna bhi bolo chai wale ko, he said, yeah, yahi hai, pina hai to piyo. And when you ask them for a disposable glass, they're like, उसमें एक और खर्चा होता है, आप पैसे दोगे क्या? बोला आप लो पैसे, but then आप रखो तो सही, and then he'll make some of the other reasons, and it was really very frustrating. At one point of time, I was thinking, यार मैं खुद में glass लेके आता हूँ मेरे कार में रख करके. But then I thought, यार it'll be so silly. Getting a glass and then asking for chai at a tea stall. It'll be really very, very funny. So वो idea gap, and I wasn't really looking at innovating something, but again, the fluid in me, or rather the knowledge that I had gained across various fields throughout my life, is what helped me invent Zipline. I had a hotel management graduate, so I knew what goes on behind the scenes, right? What goes on behind the F&B department or the kitchens. कैसे साफ होता है, क्या नहीं होता है. I faced similar issues when I used to visit pubs, restaurants, hotels. ग्लास रिम्स जो है हमेशा खराब होता था. लिपस्टिक मार्क्स हो या फिर ग्रीस के निशान हो, हैंड मार्क्स हो, तो हम क्या करते थे, टेक अ टिश्यू पेपर एंड देन उसको वाइप करो. बट दिस इज रियली just helping us psychologically, not really cleaning the rim of the glass where our lips is touching. Now, backed by my hotel management knowledge, or other hotel management graduation, and my internship in various hotels, I knew that this is an idea, right? This is a real problem. Hence, if there's a problem and if I come out with a solution, that's innovation. There are so many problems in the world. World is a very big thing. In your day-to-day life, there are so many problems. Next time, when you get irritated by something, just stop and ask, "Ye kya problem tha? How can I find a solution for it?" Right? That is when innovation happens. Now, if you invent something and then market it, that is what entrepreneurship is. So if you believe the idea of the solution that you come up with, and you could, so the belief is important going to the next step of entrepreneurship. So that is how Zipline was born. Now, chalo theek hai, problem tha, idea mila, but what about the solution, right? Making a product is not really easy. A product, I have in the back of the mind कि मेरे को ऐसा product चाहिए, but how do I really make it into a product, into a workable prototype or a workable product? That is when the experience that I had gained in my fire business doing engineering stuff helped me to actually invent, or rather make a product and make a workable solution. It was not easy, there had to be so many prototypes, so many reworks, it was really frustrating. But you believe in that idea, everything will flow automatically. The belief is important, कि कुछ भी हो ये success होने वाला है. I had searched around the globe with my family, friends, but I knew there was no solution. There was no solution to actually cater to glass hygiene, right? So the idea was born. I knew the problem hai, solution hum bana lenge, and market hai. So it was a very simple decision for me to just go ahead full steam, to invent the product. Now, this is how the journey began. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir.
So this was the first prototype which I had made. It was made at home. So what I did was I just put a piece of plastic on the glass rims, usko maine oven mein dal diya, and then the first prototype was ready, right? So that I could go and meet various manufacturers, or rather make a proper design out of it. This was the second prototype. First was good, second was burnt, literally burnt. This was the third. It was way better than first and second. And this was the fourth, right? So zipline is nothing but a sterilized, reusable, portable attachment which you can carry with you, so that and put it onto the rim of the glass. So when you're drinking, your lips is not really touching the rim of the glass directly. Thus, you are ensured that your lips is only touching a sterile surface. So this product is all the more relevant now because of the pandemic. From there, this is what the final product looked like. So you can see from here, the dirty looking prototypes to here, right? The engineering background, the hotel background, the willpower, the need. These are the things that help me come from there to here. Right now, just to summarize on what we talked about. So this is what I've already spoken about. Do not restrict yourself to the study of one discipline. Like I said, innovation happens in the intersection of various disciplines, or rather two disciplines or two different fields. Like in the iPhone's case, arts meets science. The calligraphy knowledge that Steve Jobs had with the engineering prowess, that is what made the iPhone and the fonts, basically the fonts of the iPhone, so beautiful. The influence that Steve Jobs had during his childhood in terms of where he lived, that is what influenced Steve Jobs to have a very simple design to an iPhone, and which has become a big hit. Various companies have come and started to copy, but then it nowhere comes to where an iPhone is. Be hungry and curious to learn, whatever comes your way. Do not restrict yourself. Again, it's just emphasizing on the first point that do not restrict yourself to one particular field or one particular stream. Just be curious enough, just keep your mind open and let it come. Do not be a full cup. Full cup का मतलब ये है कि, for example, this is a glass, right? You pour water, you pour liquid into it. कुछ टाइम बाद क्या होगा? ये भर जाएगा, भर के नीचे गिरने लगेगा. So basically, if you are full cup, if your mind is full of your own knowledge, or rather, if you're not open enough to grab more or having more, you will never be able to grow from one level to the other. So do not learn for qualifications and certifications, but for gaining insight and knowledge in subjects other than your core. You could be the next Leonardo da Vinci. You never know, right? You have to believe in yourself that you can be something. You've got to be enterprising. You've got to be ambitious, in life. If we talk about entrepreneurship, once you decide, do not waste even a minute. Get going and start executing. So this is where most businesses fail, or rather most business ideas fail. Having an idea is not enough. Executing is even more important, right? Now, executing is the pain part of an idea or of the entrepreneurial journey, but it just takes a second to start. Just a second to start. You decide something, just get up and start executing. Start with one thing. I know it must be difficult at your level or rather at your age that मैं कैसे करूँ? You will have a lot of questions about मैं कैसे करूँ? ये आया, this will be a problem, ये है problem. It will be a whole lot of things. But then today's world, knowledge is available free of cost. Just log on to Google, YouTube, just type your problem and you'll get hundreds of solutions for it. So it's not really difficult in today's time. You have a lot of mentors to guide you, each and every step. The government of India is supporting with various incubators, various accelerators, where if you have an idea, they would even fund you for that idea. So it has become very, very easy to actually start a business in today's state. So once you decide and start, never look back by doubting yourself. Good things take time, but oh Lord, aren't they sweet? They are very, very sweet, I'm telling you. So you decide something, you cannot have self-doubt. You cannot, right? You cannot look back. Looking back means you're doubting your idea, you're doubting yourself. Do not ever look back, just go ahead full steam. Take small steps at a time. You don't have to no, I mean, you cannot even jump from one thing to the other. You have to take small steps at a time, one thing at a time, and go ahead. Do not go back. Persevere. Patience is very important, especially when you're starting up, right? You decide on a path, you decide on a process, and keep doing it again and again and again and again and again and again and again till the time you get there, till the time you get that success, or till the time you get that sweetness that you're looking for in your life, right? Just keep doing. Do not listen to people, what they are saying. 100 people will have 100 different opinions. But what matters is what your opinion is. Nothing else matters, right? You will face resistance and advices from your near and dear ones, such as kirane wale ka tumko advice milega, maid ka advice milega, right? But does it really matter? What matters is what you think. What matters is what you want. Nothing else matters, right? The society is full of people wanting to give advices. Just keep your focus on what you want, nothing else. So only your work, dedication, and single-minded focus can shut the critics. Since I mentioned critics, let me just give you a small example. Like everyone, even I had a lot of critics in my life. And it's so sweet. It is so satisfying when you shut them up with your work, right? In fact, critics really inspire me. कोई आके बोलता है ना, you can't do this. Hey, are you mad? Are you out of your mind? It really motivates me to get going and show them, boss, this can be done. And once you achieve it, it is such a nice feeling that you don't have to answer them anything. You don't have to give it back to them, but then you just show your work, and then the mouth is shut automatically. Now, if you're confused on how to start up, to find a mentor. Now, this is a very critical thing to be noted. A mentor will only and should only guide you. I'll repeat, a mentor will and should only guide you, right? Decision making should still be yours. You cannot leave decision making on somebody else, especially a mentor, because if a mentor is helping you decide on certain stuff, it is basically a conflict of interest for them. This is based upon my personal experience. I had a mentor once, but then when you come up with an idea which no one has, or when you come up with a solution which no one has, people become greedy, and their job is to basically guide you to a certain path. If they're not doing it, it's not mentoring. So find a mentor, find a good mentor, and just start, right? Do not look back, just start. So with this, I think I should stop my presentation, and I can open up the forum for any question and answers that you guys may have. I know it was a very short session. I should have, or rather, I wanted to talk more about innovation, probably next time or some other day. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, Rohit sir. This is Preeti here. I think everybody got to know how innovation basically works. It's not just, a big deal to just go and create something. It could start from a very small thing. When you have a problem, you can just create a solution for a problem that you have. So I think you must have a lot many questions here, students. I know a lot of you are thinking of creating something. You've had quite many sessions where we've talked about innovation. You could ask any questions based on whatever sir has spoken till now.
So there's a lot of innovation that we've done at our office as well. I can probably show it to you as well. We had big jerry can, not really jerry cans, barrels.
Okay.
जिसमें gas आते थे, we used to import gas, fire extinguisher gas. So we have big barrels, but once they're empty, so क्या करना है? It takes a lot of space. What do? Either you sell it for scrap, or you do something about it. So basically, we cut it out, उसको आधा shelf जैसे बनाया, and now we made it into a library. So if you see our office, it's full of innovations. So small things helps you innovate. or rather helps you, gets you to that journey. It's not about बहुत बड़ा idea. Now, zipline is a very, it is a real need with a very simple solution. So that is how you got to think. You can't think, start thinking small. It'll automatically happen. You just need to have the right attitude to innovate, or other attitude to enterprise, Yeah,
Right,
sorry.
and this innovation as well as a very a product for the time, in the time that we are currently, where we have to be very careful with all the sanitization around us, right from sanitizing our hands, and if we are going out, things have started opening. I think this product is made for its time. Like whenever we discuss, guys, when we design a certain thing, so a product will only stand true when it is designed in a particular time where it is required, right? Yes, students, I hope there are a few questions from you. You could ask.
Hello.
Yes.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah, Diksha, you are.
Sir, thanks for the presentation. I would like to ask, is it possible to get funding without any MVP or any initial product? Like you don't have a product yet, you just have it in, you don't even have an MVP.
So
But
so
can you
basically, yes. So basically, there are angel investors who invest on idea as well, right? But then the idea should be strong enough. You should have a business plan for the idea as well. ठीक है, product ready नहीं है, that's fine. But you should at least have the business plan of how you're going to make that product,
Yes, sir.
sell it, how you're going to
Even
promote
if
it.
we have a pitch deck and a business plan, still the question is, are we experienced enough to take that work out? Like, for example, if I have an idea, the investor is asking me, neither do you have pre-shares of the company, neither the team is experienced enough to be like to take this work ahead. So, like, even if we have an income statement, even if we have a projection, 5 years projection, the problem that is arising with me because I am not experienced.
You're inexperienced. Okay. Now, I have a few questions. Do you have a company registered?
Yes, we have a company registered.
And this idea that you're talking about, is it still in the ideation stage, or do you have a product and a business plan?
No, we haven't launched a product yet because it's not a tech product. It's a actual it's a product
It's a physical product.
Yeah, it's a physical product. So we need to talk to manufacturers to manufacture it. But before going to the manufacturers, we would like to have an angel pre-seed.
So this product that you're talking about, is it already available in the market? Is it something which is already available, or is it something new or novel?
It's already there. Like it's not new. Like the area that we are working on, the people already know about it. It's in food sector, so people already know about it. But the way we are doing it, it's a little different. Like it's not totally it's not a regular product that we just making something and we are selling it. We have our USP.
Yeah, there are angel investors who invest on idea as well, but then you need to have a proof of concept. So you need to prove your idea to them, and I'm sure you will have investors. So there are. So are you registered with the DPIIT as a startup?
LLP. We are registered as a LLP.
No, that is fine. But the Government of India portal, where you're recognized as a startup.
Yes, we are recognized as a startup.
Okay, so you should really make use of that portal where you could find a lot of incubators, a lot of investors, angel investors, So the website, the portal itself, it's I think startupindia.com. Even Maharashtra government have their own startup forum, like the India government, like the central government has. So there are a lot of avenues that you could make use of for startups. So it's something that is very, very useful for a beginner, and you will definitely.
So the problem with incubators, the incubator that we got selected in first, so the shares they are demanding for the money they are giving, it's not rational, not up to the ratio that we are expecting.
That is the reason you should have a proof of concept. Proof of concept means where your idea is proven, where you have proved the idea that this idea works, right? Now,
Yeah.
in terms of the equity that they're asking, it's
Yeah.
really a negotiation that you have to deal with. They're asking for maybe 15%, try to negotiate for 10%, or I mean, whatever the figure that is, whatever figure that you are comfortable in. End of the day, you also understand that look for investors or other strategic investors, not someone who could just fund you. There are many people who could just give money to you, right? If you have an idea. But look for investors who are strategic, who would actually help you, handhold you from getting from the idea stage into the market.
So like how to find them? Like, is there any?
So start with the Startup India, right? If you have the certificate, well and good, you can just log into their website. There are various forums that can help you get an investor. You
Okay.
name it. You will get a CA, you will get a lawyer, you will get a patent lawyer, you will get anything over there,
Cool.
right?
Okay.
With their telephone numbers. So that is something that you can start off right away.
Cool. So another question that I had, like if my company has a revenue, how much loan can I get from a bank as a startup? Like for my company has a revenue of like 15 lakhs. So how much money loan can I get from the bank?
Well,
If I'm asking for a business loan, like trying to get a business loan.
well, if you have 15 lakhs, why do you want a loan?
So the revenue is 15 lakhs means the profit may not be that 15 lakhs, right? Like we may not have that 15 lakhs to use it to make another product.
Okay.
Yeah, the revenue I'm talking about here.
So how old is this business?
3 years.
3 years. So you have an
There,
income statement for 3 years, your financials, balance sheet.
yes, we have.
So I think you should go and check with the bank because they would be the best people. It is totally based on your profits and your balance sheet and your history. So if you've taken some loans before and you have a good track record of paying them on time, that will help you get a better loan or rather getting a better amount, right? So there are various factors in getting loan, and it differs from bank to bank, and it differs from business to business.
So is it good to take a personal business loan and start so that we have an MVP and have a pre-share value and then approach to incubators and investors? Like because investor, those who are out of the country, they're asking for a pre-share value of the company. So we were thinking about getting a loan and then having have a shares, we will launch the shares and then
So first and foremost, tell me, why do you want to do business?
like do I like why do we, like I have a idea which I want to make it as a brand, and then I like the company that I'm talking about. I'm doing brand consultancy for last 3 years. Like when I joined, like when I was in class 12, I started that. So I like the product that we never launched a product of our own. We were only about doing digital marketing, branding, brand designing, and everything. So when we have a product idea, we would like to launch it to the market as a brand, and then the area that we are playing in is food. And if I go in details about it, it is in chocolates, dark chocolates. And then so as it is, the market is really growing. We did a primary survey, we did a secondary survey, and then we did a market research upon it. We have a pitch deck. We have we have pitched it to foreign investors. But the problem with foreign investors is they want a pre-share, pre-value of the company, and we don't have a pre-valuation of the company yet. We haven't launched any shares, so we need help in that because um, like um, the investor is asking for a pre-share value.
No. So if you have launched the company and it's an LLP, right? So you should have a shareholding pattern,
No,
and
sir,
the
we like
shareholding will
I
have a
haven't.
value.
No, sir, like that area, we don't we haven't even thought about it. Like now, when we pitched it, that time we realized, oh, we should have that shares and everything. Before that, we just registered the company and that we were working on.
Okay. So again, you have told me a story, but then what exactly is the question? Do you? I
So
mean,
how to help? Like we were thinking about taking a personal business loan so that we have a company, like the company will have a valuation, so that the investors can pitch in, like the
See,
angel
yeah, I
passive
understood.
investors.
Now,
And
I understood. I need to make a very important point here. You know, it's a very bad culture that we have come into where startups and entrepreneurs or business owners, they are running behind the valuation. They just want to increase their company's valuation, but they're not really focused on the revenue or the sales, which is the real value of a company,
yeah.
right? Uh, so is your intention कि मैं value बढ़ा दूं company का and then एक दो साल बाद I sell it off for a premium?
लाइक सर मेरा ये है कि अगर वो इन्वेस्ट करने को रेडी है और मेरे को बस एक लाइक कोलैटरल चाहिए प्रूव करने को कि वी हैव शेयर्स, सो व्हाई नॉट टू गो फॉर दैट इन्वेस्टमेंट?
If with loan you'll have to repay it, right?
या सो मतलब आई वाज थिंकिंग कि मतलब जो लोन आएगा उसको तो हम यूज करेंगे प्रोडक्ट मैन्युफैक्चर करने के लिए, so any which ways we are going to repay the loan, and the loan amount I don't think with the valuation that we have now we are not going to get that much of loan. So that is also like all these things I am a little confused to go
So
for
so
that
if you can,
step or
if you're
not.
confident enough to sell your products, go ahead and take a loan. That's the best option because you don't have to sell your equity.
Yeah, so that
So
will be good.
yeah,
Yes,
so if you are confident that you can sell your product and repay the loan, go ahead. Yes. It's always better to take a loan than selling your equity.
yeah, okay sir, okay sir. So that is what like you should take a loan okay. And then thank you sir, I will be visiting the my startup like website, like, because we are already registered as a startup, so I will be looking for investors who can give a pre-seeding value.
Sure,
Thank you,
sure.
sir.
Best of luck to you, Diksha.
Thank you, sir. So would you like to would you like to connect do you have an email like that?
Oh yes, sure. I think I shared my email ID. Oh, my screen is not shared. Just a second.
Okay, sir. So I will be sending the details if we can connect later.
Sure, sure. I'll help in whatever way I can.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Come on, guys. Who's the next entrepreneur?
Sir, I have a question. First
Mhm.
of all, thank you for this amazing and interesting presentation. I really learned a lot. And I want to ask that suppose I have an idea in my mind and now I want to implement it. So what steps should I follow in order to, implement it in the real life?
Okay. Is your idea novel?
I guess because there's no idea like that. Like it's related to education sector.
Okay.
And I don't think that idea like this exists as of now.
Okay. So if it is patentable, I would suggest the first thing you should do is protect your idea,
Right.
right? So protect your idea means you don't have to wait till you get the patent. Just file for it.
Okay.
And one important thing is when you're filing a patent, find a good lawyer, right? Not a gully ka lawyer, because IP is very, very important. The language that you use to file your patent is very, very important. It helps you protect you in a very wide way. So find a good lawyer. They'll charge a little more money, no doubt about it, but then they'll ensure that you have a good IP filed. So that's first. Second, make a business plan if you don't already have. I mean, how are you going to sell it, right? Which are the modes or which are the verticals that you're going to sell it through, online, e-commerce, or if it's an education related, how exactly are you going to get to your clients, right? Think about all those stuff. Once you have a formal or rather a brief idea of how you're going to pitch it to your clients, prospective clients, register a company. Now, again, the entrepreneurs, the initial entrepreneurs, the mistake that they make is they are really not courageous enough to go it alone. in the sense it is good to have partners, but it's not mandatory to have partners, because if you do not have the right partners, business partners with you, I mean, it's tough. So if you have partners, fair enough. Otherwise, just register your company and start.
Right.
Has it answered your query?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Best of luck, Ishika.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, do we have some more questions, students? Is there any more queries that you have? Sir, I think the students are a bit shy today. Maybe they're not opening up. So
Okay.
it was indeed a very informative session right from where we began. And, we got to hear a lot many stories that were unheard of. I myself didn't know that, the iPhone design has been inspired by an architect's work. So indeed, very interesting work.
And the architect was inspired by an educator.
Okay. Interesting. So I think a lot many of you have, got few ideas, or, maybe a kind of an instinct wherever you find, if you want to begin with something, if you have something to solve a problem, you can very well go ahead and think of an idea. And as well, so we would have you as a guidance for our students further if we are required.
Definitely, I'll be more than happy.
Yeah.
So I have my email ID as well. I mean,
Right.
anybody wants to connect, they can definitely shoot a mail, and I'll be pleased to support them
Sure.
in building the country.
Yeah, I think our students will do that. And yeah, Diksha, those were quite interesting questions from your end as well, and Ishika. So yeah, Devika, you can proceed ahead.
Rohit sir, I would like to thank you on behalf of everyone in the meet for taking out time from your busy schedule and enlightening us with your knowledge and experience. Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so much. Guys, go ziplining now. Do not go out to a bar or a restaurant without a zipline. If I find y'all without a zipline, then you had it.
Definitely, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you again, Rohit sir.
Thank you, Preeti, for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, we'd like to have you on campus sometime soon if we are open.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah, a great way of interacting with the students and, help them with their ideas.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Devika. Thank you, Dr. Gauri, for having me.
Yes. Thank you, sir.